Barcelona is a city known for its architecture, culture, and thriving business sector. But the city now has a darker side. People from all walks of life are suddenly finding themselves exposed to hardship and occasionally hunger. The economic crisis linked to the COVID-19 pandemic has made the queues of the people lining up for free food seem endless. New poverty is real and just emerging in Spain. The economic crisis caused by the pandemic is wreaking havoc among the middle classes. Nearly half the people asking for help are now called the new poor. They're people who, for the first time, are in a position of vulnerability. In this report, we'll meet one such family that has lost everything. Antonio and Cristina have 3 children. COVID-19 destroyed their small tapas bar. Unable to pay the bills, they lost their flat. In order to eat, the family has had to ask for help. The association From Neighbour to Neighbour collects food from local shops and gives it to people in need. For Antonio, it was a first.
I never imagined myself in this position. Otherwise, why would I have had 3 children? I was doing fine. My life just took a turn for the worse. Honestly, going and asking for food at first makes you feel ashamed.
In September, when the family lost their home, the city council gave them a comfortable tourist flat as a temporary shelter. They can stay here until summer. Tony's wife, Cristina, is from Romania. She says there are a lot of new poor in Spain.
I suppose lots of families didn't have to ask NGOs like Caritas for food before, but they are now. It's very hard seeing yourself there, but it's something you have to do. You have to eat. There is no other option. Thanks to these associations, thanks to the fact they exist, we get help. Without such support, you would have to look through rubbish bins or steal.
We were a normal family. We weren't wealthy, but we made a living. Right now, the only thing we have for everything is the 400 euros my wife gets from Social Security. We also get food. We applied for universal basic income, but it hasn't arrived yet. I don't get unemployment benefits. I don't get anything. If your child asks you for an ice cream, you can't even buy that.
It's time to pick little Leah up from school, which is close to Tony's shattered dream. Having piled up huge debts, COVID-19 sealed the fate of Tony's beloved tapas bar. He had to sell it to a Chinese family.
I made this place my own, to my own taste. How could that not hurt? On top of that, it's opposite the school, and I see it every now and then. It's something that you created, something you made as you imagined, and it went wrong. And that hurts.
Some charities believe that COVID-19 could raise the number of people living in poverty in Spain by around 1.1 million. But why is Spain being hit so hard?
Somehow we ignored the importance of the informal economy. Now we understand that a lot of people used to work in the informal economy, which now no longer exists. As it's an invisible economy, it's an invisible poverty or wealth. Before the pandemic, we delivered 2.5 tons of food per month, serving about 130 to 140 people. Now, in these 8 months, we've already delivered more than 100 tons.
Let's head to Austria now, to the capital, Vienna, a city known for its wealth and well-being. Just like Barcelona, this city has a hidden side. Out of the blue, some people have been left without work and exposed to hardships, including hunger.
More than a dozen of these food packages are going to be delivered to the Northlight homeless shelter. We're in Vienna. The coronavirus has shattered lives in Austria too. Here in the European Union's 6th richest country, some who were once in a comfortable situation have now found themselves on the streets.
One such person is Regina. She's a German national who has worked in hotels all around Europe. Until the summer, she was in Spain, but when she got a winter job offer in Austria, she accepted. When she arrived, her job was no more. Regina tells me what happened before she and her 2 dogs were saved by the homeless shelter.
First, I rented a room in a cheap boarding house where I stayed for 4 weeks. Then I realized that the money was running out, the dogs were hungry, and I was hungry. Here I get something to eat and to drink. Without that, I would have to beg on the streets. I've never been in a situation like this. You cannot move forward, you cannot go back. And my fate is just like one of the other thousands or millions of people. I'm sorry, I'm at breaking point. I'm a bit jittery because I'm sick with worry. What will happen to me?
Sharing a hot meal with the homeless is a new experience for Regina. She asked for unemployment benefits, but the Austrian administration realised she lacks 127 days of work to be entitled to this. Regina calls the people working in the shelter her second family.
This is the cuddle effect. You get to share jokes, and sometimes tears as well.
Relationship building, this is what we are doing. Then everything else follows, just like in a family.
When you see that someone is feeling bad, you cheer them up with a nice joke.
Pandemic-induced new poverty has also come down hard on single parents, the self-employed, small business owners and seasonal workers. The list goes on and on.
The corona crisis is like a magnifying glass showing the fine fractures in society. We have around 70% more people coming to us, asking for urgent help and for food parcels. People who never thought they would depend on food packages for their families are standing in these queues.
Regina is going in person to hand over her 48th job application form, this time to the president of the Austrian Hotel Association. Tourism counts for over 7% of the country's GDP, and usually there is a lack of personnel. But COVID-19 has put hotel managers in a difficult situation too.
Als es dann im September, Ende September
At the end of September, when Germany issued a travel warning, the crisis turned into a real catastrophe. And that's why all my colleagues are quite reluctant to hire, because nobody knows if there will be a third lockdown.
Weil sie ja auch nicht wissen, gibt es noch einen.
Everyone is talking about it, and that's the sad thing for Regina. Well, I've promised to help her using my personal contacts and to find her a job somewhere in Austria.
The European Union is helping too. 13.5 billion euros of the cohesion policy funds have been given to help the most vulnerable. Across the board, from people to associations to governments, Europeans are showing they can fight this crisis.